What's up, guys? This is No Holding Back with Chris and Jesse.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us.
In the Star Wars universe, we are familiar with the characters who helm the most iconic weapons and the purpose they serve. However, today we're going to be discussing the importance of the most iconic spacecrafts in the Star Wars universe. Starting off with Luke's Red 5 X-Wing, also known as the T-65B X-Wing starfighter. Luke first flew this X-Wing in the Battle of Yavin, where he faced off against Darth Vader's TIE Advanced X-1 and other TIE fighters, where he ultimately blew up the Death Star. He flew it once again after the Battle of Hoth, where he took it to Dagobah, where Yoda would ultimately train him. The X-Wing sank as he tried to land it, but Yoda would lift the X-Wing out of the swamp when demonstrating the Force to Luke. After choosing not to complete his training, Luke flew his X-Wing to Cloud City on Bespin, where he would face off against Darth Vader. After Luke's battle with Vader, Luke, Lando, and Leia recovered Red 5 on a mission to a mining colony. Luke flew Red 5 when he had to rescue Han Solo on Tatooine. In order to finish his training, Luke had to fly back to Dagobah to meet up with Yoda. We recently saw Luke fly it on his way to Gideon's light cruiser during his rescue mission for Grogu. After the fall of his Jedi temple, Luke sank his X-Wing below the sea of Temple Island on Ahch-To. Luke's restored faith ultimately led him to lift it out of the sea, where Rey repaired it and flew it to Exegol to fight Emperor Palpatine. On her voyage to Exegol, Rey transmitted Red 5's tracking beacon to the Resistance base that allowed them to track her whereabouts, and this allowed them to attack the Sith world. Ultimately, the Red 5 X-Wing survived.
The Ghost is a modified VCX light freighter from Star Wars Rebels, owned and piloted by Hera and her droid Chopper. It becomes the primary ship seen throughout the entire series, taking the main characters across all kinds of adventures throughout the galaxy. During the rule of the Empire, Hera and her crew on board the Ghost went through a lot in their 4-season run of Star Wars Rebels. They devoted their lives to fighting back against the Empire, battling Inquisitors and doing their very best to save as many lives as they can. The Ghost is famous for escaping the Empire at the last moment during their missions. All credit should go to Hera and Kanan for their piloting skills, because without them the Ghost would be nothing crazy special. In live action, however, the Ghost has made cameo appearances in Rogue One and Rise of Skywalker, which does make sense from a timeline perspective because the finale of Star Wars Rebels goes on to confirm that the survivors of the series took part in the Battle of Endor and helped the rebellion win the war.
Up next, we have the Slave One. It's a modified Firespray 31 class patrol and attack craft. It was first owned by the infamous Mandalorian bounty hunter Jango Fett before the Clone Wars. After his death, it was given to Boba Fett, his son, which he used during the fall of the Republic and during the reign of the Galactic Empire. Jango stole the Slave One from Uvo 4, a prison moon that Firespray attack crafts were used to guard. This spacecraft has laser cannons, projectile launchers, and seismic charges. Under Jango's ownership, they traveled to Ord Mantell in Geonosis, where he fought Obi-Wan Kenobi. Under Boba's ownership, Boba was tasked by Darth Vader to capture Han Solo. Boba transported the carbon-frozen Han Solo into Jabba the Hutt's custody at his palace on Tatooine. After the war, Boba and his new partner, Fennec Shand, flew to Tython, where they met up with Grogu and Din Djarin. After Din Djarin's ship was destroyed, they continued their quest to rescue Grogu after he was captured. Once the mission was complete, Boba and Shand flew back to Jabba's palace in order to claim Jabba's criminal empire.
Next, we have what is quite arguably the most famous starship in all of Star Wars, the Millennium Falcon. And what's not to say about this one? A YT series light freighter ship that originally belonged to Lando Calrissian and then Han Solo. This thing has seen everything from riches to war. It's famous for making the Kessel run in less than 12 parsecs, which basically means the ship took a dangerous route from one sector to another in the fastest time possible for the kind of ship that it is. It's the ship that took Luke Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi to the first Death Star, as well as the ship that aided the rebellion in destroying that Death Star in A New Hope. It aided our heroes in escaping Hoth in The Empire Strikes Back, and fell back in the hands of Lando when Han Solo was taken by Boba Fett due to a bounty. Lando took the ship back to Tatooine with his new friends to rescue Han, and the ship was then responsible for the destruction of the second Death Star, and winning the war for the rebels. In the sequel era, the ship made its return to Han Solo and aided in the war against the First Order, eventually falling into the hands of Rey after Han's death. But hey, in my eyes it'll always be Chewie's ship. He deserves it for being the best co-pilot in Star Wars.
The ETA-2 Jedi Starfighter. It's a spacecraft used by the Jedi, most notably during the Clone Wars. It was designed to replace the Delta-7, in which the ETA-2 was a smaller vessel that possessed superior firepower. Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker flew two ETA-2s during the Battle of Coruscant. Darth Vader would later fly a modified black ETA-2 several years later after the Clone Wars.
Once considered the Galactic Senate's most powerful capital ship, became the Empire's biggest stronghold over many battles throughout the original trilogy. The Star Destroyer represented power throughout all of history. It was shaped like a dagger and stocked with thousands of workers and fighters. The Star Destroyer acted like a mobile base for those who had joined the Empire. They've all been categorized into many different kinds, such as the Vindicator class, the earliest models from the Galactic Republic, and the Empire at the beginning of their rule. These models make their appearances all over the prequel trilogy, as well as the very first mission in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. There are even Imperial-class Star Destroyers, which are most commonly shown as the kind of Star Destroyers throughout the original trilogy and the Rebels TV series. The most crucial kind of Star Destroyer is known as the Executor, aka the Super-class Star Destroyer, which was responsible for crashing into the second Death Star at the end of the Battle of Endor. It belonged to the Emperor, and seeing it destroyed helped boost the battle in favor of the rebellion.
Moving on to the Razor Crest, it was a gunship used by the Mandalorian bounty hunter Din Djarin. Djarin hunted bounties in the Outer Rim territories in the early years of the New Republic. He later used it to search for the child named Grogu. Once he found Grogu, he had to find Grogu's species. But once that didn't work out, he was tasked to find a Jedi that was going to be able to train him. Ultimately, the Razor Crest was destroyed by Gideon's light cruiser by just a single shot on Tython.
And finally, we have the Supremacy. The Supremacy is the First Order's attempt at recreating the Executor. Years after the defeat of the Empire, Supreme Leader Snoke commendated and led the First Order to battle against the Republic for control over the galaxy. While the First Order dealt with their enemies with newly built Star Destroyer classes, such as the Resurgent and Dreadnought classes, Snoke remained hidden in his own destroyer titled the Supremacy. The Supremacy was a mega-class destroyer and a mobile capital for the Supreme Leader, his Sith apprentice, and the entire First Order crew. It was the only one of its kind, showcased only in The Last Jedi, and acted as both a battleship and command center in one. It was equipped with a hyperspace tracker, the first of its kind, and an arsenal of firing cannons, the likes of which you'd expect from a Star Destroyer. Snoke made sure to add a throne room within and spent all of his screen time within it. While the First Order workers fought against the Resistance, he waited for the fight to come to him. This massive vessel certainly intimidated the competition.
So, did we mention your favorite spaceship in the Star Wars universe? And if we didn't, make sure to comment them in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much guys for watching. Until the next one.